The immune system is a ridiculously complex, integrated network of specialized cells, organs, and plasma proteins that we call lymph that work together to protect us from invading infections and cancers. The immune system kind of takes a backseat to body symptoms like the cardiovascular system or the nervous system or the digestive system. We really don't think about it in quite the same way, and in part that's because it's a mystery. Well, I'm here today to bring to you a discussion of the immune system, take out some of the mystery, and perhaps help you better understand some of the dynamics of the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. The immune system has two components. The first component of the immune system is called innate or natural immunity. It's the components, the constituents that we develop during embryogenesis and during fetal development, and we're born with these specialized organs that constitute the very foundation of the immune system. First of all, there's the barriers: skin, mucous membranes, the lining of the GI tract. There are major organs associated with this: the spleen, the thymus gland, and the bone marrow. The spleen and the thymus gland in particular help develop another component, which are called plasma proteins, also known as lymph, which contain complement mechanisms to help make the whole system work that much better. The bone marrow is particularly interesting and important. The bone marrow makes monocytes to protect us against invading tuberculosis. The bone marrow makes neutrophils that fight off bacterial infections. The bone marrow makes lymphocytes, which fight and destroy viral infections. And finally, the bone marrow is important in the development of substances called, or cells called, macrophages, which engulf and digest particles left over from the destruction of viruses and cells through the infectious process. The second component of the immune system is called acquired or adaptive immunity. Unlike natural immunity, acquired immunity has memory. Think of it a little bit like a computer that perfects and embellishes innate immunity, makes it work that much better to fight off infections and perhaps invading cancers. Also distinct from innate immunity is the acquisition of acquired immunity. I told you that in innate immunity, it's about the organs that develop during fetal development, the organs that we're born with. Well, when it comes to acquired immunity, it does not begin to develop until the birthing process. That's right, during birth, during the passage of a fetus down the birth canal, they begin to take in the microorganisms in the mother's birth canal, and that begins the develop of acquired immunity. We call this the microbiome, and I think it's just totally fascinating how we begin to develop acquired immunity during the birthing process, and that our mothers give us this fabulous mechanism of acquired immunity that we utilize throughout our entire lifetime. That said, adaptive or acquired immunity matures and develops and responds throughout childhood and adulthood to perfect its ability to ward off infections and to ward off cancers. But wait, it has even more fabulous components to it. It has what we call b-lymphocytes. B-lymphocytes make antibodies to fight infections. Antibodies are part of that memory system that I've talked about. When you get an infection, you develop antibodies, and those antibodies remember same or similar germs so that they are more readily adaptive to the infection fighting process. It also has what we call T-lymphocytes. T-lymphocytes are killer cells that help gobble up and destroy infected cells and the remnants of viruses. Finally, there are the plasma proteins that complement the overall process of immunity between both components, coordinate that, and make the whole system work that much more effective and available for infection fighting. So there you have it. I've explained and described and defined the immune system as a ridiculously complex and integrated network of organs and tissues and fluids that protect us against infection and invading cancers. I've described the innate component of the immune system, the organs that we're born with that make it effective, the spleen, the thymus, the bone marrow. I've explained acquired immunity. Acquired immunity is different from innate immunity because it has memory. It can remember prior infections and respond to them to improve immune function. When it comes to this memory component, it's also a segue, an entry into discussing what this COVID-19 coronavirus is all about. It is a pandemic, and there are some really important reasons why it's defined as a pandemic. Well, first of all, it's worldwide. Worldwide, it spares almost no country because it's spread so rapidly. Well, you wonder, why is it that it spreads so rapidly? Well, first of all, it's a very virulent virus. But more important than that, remember that it's a novel virus, a first exposure virus. So our immune system has no memory of it. Because it has no memory, it cannot respond rapidly to embellish innate immunity and other components of the immune system to ward it off and to fight it. It has a very high affinity for humans, so it rapidly infects anyone who's exposed to it. It's also important to understand that immune function is dependent upon nutrition. Malnutrition is prevalent worldwide. When people are malnourished, their innate immune system is not as effective. It's not as healthy. So the innate immune system is impaired in individuals who are malnourished and lacking memory or acquired immunity. It's a devastating process. There's just no question about it. So it's become pandemic because of no memory to this novel virus, because it's virulent, because it has a high affinity for humans, and because malnutrition is a worldwide phenomenon. Hear this as well. There is no better treatment, if you will, for this coronavirus other than social isolation, quarantine, and social distancing. For gosh sakes, understand that if you're not exposed to COVID-19 coronavirus, you can't get infected with it. It's as simple as that. So obey CDC recommendations regarding it. Stay out of emergency rooms and hospitals. Stay out of other congregations of individuals who might be exposed to the virus and unknowingly spread it to you. Finally, get this. Despite messaging from media, there is no opportunity for developing an FDA-approved medication or vaccine for at least a year. So there's nothing right now in the pipeline that's going to become available in a month or two to treat this and put it down. This is Dr. Jim for Be Healthy, Be Happy. Stay safe, stay isolated, stay close to your family and your loved ones. I'll see you next time on Be Healthy, Be Happy with Dr. Jim.